Over the next 7 days, I'm going to be building the best Lego city you've ever seen, taking this empty plot of land and transforming it into a bustling city. Let's go. So I laid out a base foundation for where the city's going to go. It'll be based on 12 green base plates. I removed one, ran up to my Lego room and began work. Before we could get any building done, I had to lay down the foundation. And for this, we're going to be creating loads of these mills plates, basically slightly raising up everything so that we can add more details to the roads and buildings. Now that we have our first mills plate created, what are we going to put on top of it? Well, of course, we're going to go with a giant Lego set. And I think it will be the perfect start point for our city. The first few bags lay out a basic floor plan. With the raised floor, you slowly begin to raise up all the walls, adding in loads of details. And I've got to say, this is one of my favorite Lego sets I've ever built. Don't worry, I'm not going to be cheating with every single building we do. There's going to be loads of custom stuff in this city as well. I thought I just started off with a couple of really nice buildings. And now after a couple of hours of building and the first 6 bags are fully done, we have the first floor finished. We have a cool donut shop over on this side with this really nice pink color, as well as 2 of these really cool trees using these cog pieces. Over here, there's a small newsstand as well as a lamppost. Removing the door of the prison, you can see someone's tunneling their way out. And in the entrance, we have a foyer with a telephone, as well as a nice water cooler so the police can keep hydrated. With this first floor done, I cracked on with the second floor. You create a large plate for the basic floor. There's some really great techniques, especially in the front of the building. Cracking open the next bag, you move on to the last floor, where you continue the office for the policeman, adding in a bathroom and a recording space for witness statements. Onto the last bag now, we're nearly finished. This last bag consisted of the pieces to make up the roof. It had a cool design, even including a couple of Minecraft wolf heads. It's currently 12 minutes past midnight, so I'm going to head to bed, and then I'm going to show you a bit more about this in the morning. So as you saw, the set is made up of 3 floors. On the second floor, you have an apartment with a bed which hides a contraption for a nifty way to steal donuts. In the center, you have a room for the policeman with this cool notice board. So now we have to make a big decision about minifigures. We can either go with the flesh tone minifigures or the yellow minifigures, but I thought I'd put it to you guys to see what you prefer. So I posted a YouTube short. Some of you even criminally suggested that I use a mixture of both, which I thought was just insane. But the overall poll on Instagram overwhelmingly favored the skin tone minifigures, so it's time to get rid of all these yellow heads and swap them over for skin tone. And with the population of the city created, it's time to add some of them into the police station. We added this newspaper seller into his newsstand. There's a prisoner being escorted into the front by PC Paolo. PC Peter's behind the desk. Our donut store owner has just sold PC Pauline a donut. PC Pedro's doing some paperwork. And PC Patrick's taking some mug shots of this robber. And finally, this gentleman's buying a newspaper outside. And so inside of this box is our next build. And I thought, what better set to have next than one of the biggest modulars Lego have ever made. The beautiful assembly square. There's technically only 6 numbered bags, and this has about 1,500 pieces more than the police station, but as you can see, there's tons of the same numbers, so this is going to be a horrible build. Got to first make the base that it's going to go on. I then began work on the actual set. Again, the first bag is just laying down a basic floor design, building up this courtyard in the center, and adding some more details to the floor. Just finished bag number 1. This is everything we created, but look how many pieces are in bag number 2. This is ridiculous. That's got to be like 800 pieces. You then build up the walls of the first building on the left-hand side, slowly adding a couple of details and features. It's genuinely such a chaotic build. It really feels like I'm sort of piecing together an old retired set from the 80s or something. But despite the vast pile of bricks that we had to sort through, I pushed on with the build. 2 bags down and the first floor is now complete. With the next couple of bags, we began work on the next floor. It's time for bag 5, the second to last bag. This bag continued the second floor, this time over on the second building, which continues onto the third floor, and you finally build a small roof to top it off. So one of the buildings is complete, and we only have 1 more bag left to finish the final floor of this building. But sadly, it's about midnight right now. I've been building genuinely for most of the day. It's been a heck of a long build so far, so I'll catch up with you guys on day 3. The final bag consisted of tons and tons of pieces used to create the last floor as well as the roof for the second building. I've got to say, overall, I really enjoyed the set. However, it did take a hell of a long time. It was a grueling build, probably about 12 to 13 hours. But I think it has to be worth it as this set is enormous. Again, it comes together in multiple modular layers. We have a street out front with a nice water fountain, with the sand blue building on the left, sand green building in the middle, and this really nice dark orange building over to the right. The lowest floor of the left building features a coffee shop with a few seats outside, a couple of chairs on the inside, and of course a station to make the coffee. I added a few pedestrians outside. The stairs lead up to this small music shop with a couple of instruments for sale, with the store owner behind the till and this guy trying out a guitar. And then the final floor is a ballet studio. There's a cool mirror and rail, as well as a really nice piano build with the instructor playing a tune. And the final staircase takes us up to the roof, where there's a small hatch and a nice skylight. The building in the center is a flower shop with a really nicely designed sign and a small interior with of course some flowers, a till, and a parrot here to keep the store owner company. Bottom floor of this final building is a bakery. There's some nice looking cakes in the windows. There are a couple of chefs, a customer leaving with some sweet treats, and an oven in the corner with a freshly baked set of cakes. The staircase in the back leads us up to the second floor, where we have this nice dentist's office and a cool photography studio, above which we have a small Lego room with this lady playing with the Lego city. Outside on the rooftop garden there seems to be a bit of a fire and a couple of firemen putting it out. The owner of the apartment seems like he's overreacting a little bit. Let's go and add this to our police station, and this is how our first set of buildings are looking in the city. And I'll be returning to build a custom modular here pretty soon, but firstly on this next set of base plates I think it's time we tie it all together with a couple of roads. And for this we're going to need a boatload of dark grey bricks. To build these road plates I'm basically going to be building a giant grey wall on its side, which laying flat creates a nice smooth surface. You can see we added a couple of white lines, and I capped off either side to make a sidewalk. I then replicated this 3 more times with a few different variations, and you can see this looks really good in front of our buildings. There were a few small changes I had to make, like this doubled up grey line, but I quickly fixed that and we're on to day 4. Now for day 4, like the chicken, we're going to cross the road and we're going to head on this plot of land, and I'm going to be building a grocery store. So I picked up this grocery store set, and using my power speed building I built this up in 5 seconds. But this just didn't look good enough for my Lego city, so I destroyed it and used the pieces to make my own perfect custom grocery store, starting as always by laying down a base and working out exactly how big I wanted the store. I wanted to keep a few elements from the old store, like the window design and that fresh logo on the front, also keeping the white colour scheme with the lime green and green accents. Progress on the grocery store is going pretty well. This will all be changed over here. This will be a nice parking lot, and I've started to lay out what's going to go where inside as well, so we still have that feature where we can have some deliveries be made. I've built a sort of checkout here, but I'm going to take a quick break to build this awesome other grocery store themed set right here. The build for the van was super simple. We also made these patches of garden, which I'll definitely try and include in my city, and I think I'll even have the van driving around. So let's continue working on the parking lot so I can make some deliveries and collect some produce from the store. Finishing off the parking lot, I added a small diagonal staircase leading up to a pathway that goes to the entrance of the store. I then turned my attention to the inside of the store, where I finished the floor off with some white tiles, leaving spaces for where I was going to add things, starting with the checkout, followed by this plant pot in the corner, a stand holding some fresh pastries, a cash point, this shelf with some different beverages that we placed in the center, a floating shelf over here with some more condiments and bottles, a fridge section to store fish, and 2 more compartments holding some bread and some meat. On this side I created a nice stand for some different fruit and veg with tons of varieties. We also added a little box with some chilies and carrots over on this side. Out front we have a nice vegetable patch, and I carried over the pieces from that set, even adding a couple of bunny rabbits and a farmer tending to his crops. Now the store's looking good, but we definitely need a roof. I extended the original roof, tiling it off with these big grey plates, keeping that fresh logo and the solar panels, and finishing the rest of the roof off with some grills, tiles, and then this ventilator system on the side. And this just clips on like the modular buildings. The store looks great, but I think it's a little bit deserted, so let's add in some minifigures. We have the smiling store clerk who's packing some vegetables that this guy's buying, a guy stocking up bananas, a customer buying a drink, a few more store workers and customers, and this guy leaving with a full trolley, an old man who's definitely forklift certified, and the grocery store van just leaving. I also opened up one of these new CMFs to get this carrot minifigure who I added out at the front, as well as the guy in the pea suit, both advertising the store, and this guy with the prosthetic leg has a detailed shopping list. Now with the grocery store done, it's time to turn our attention to another custom build. Taking away this base plate, I'm going to be building a Lego store. I picked up this Lego store set, but I'm going to be making it 100 times better. I started off by building a base, adding in some details along the front, including a doorway and some nice big windows. I built up the walls around the back 2 sides, adding in some details with some masonry bricks, and on the other side I continued the pattern. Yesterday I realised I was missing a couple of pieces for this build and had to emergency order them, so they should be arriving in a minute. For the Lego store logo on the front, I picked it off of the set and added an extra sticker onto this sign on the side, and I think this is looking really, really awesome. And funny enough, this is perfect timing as those pieces have just arrived. Let's swap them over. That's much better. Now I can go ahead and finish off this build, changing up the trim around the bottom, adding in the top layers, finishing off the walls and tiling off the top. Taking inspiration from that set, I added in this small train build as well as this castle build into the windows. For this third window I added in some sets that are on display, and for this fourth window I added in this boat piece, which worked really well to represent that massive Titanic build. Now I don't know about you, but one of the main things I buy from the Lego store is the pick-a-brick cups, so I had to create a big pick-a-brick wall with lots of different colours. I added this onto the wall as well as a couple of bits of artwork, and then began constructing my first shelf. I added a few of these adult style black boxes, as well as this shelf holding a couple of awesome sets built, including R2, Chewbacca, the Infinity Gauntlet, the Black Panther bust, and a couple of helmet sets. I then added the shelves back next to this, and added a few more over on the right hand side, even including this brick-built Spider-Man up in the corner. Despite my hate for them, I added in some Ninjago sets and finished off the Build a Minifig factory. Finally adding in where I wanted the till, I completely tiled off the rest of the floor, adding in some small yellow lines, and then it was time to build the next floor. Now I really went into full creative mode for this, and my desk was an absolute mess, so I didn't film much of it, but I created this nice dark tan building, which is going to sit right on top of the Lego room. We have a nice entrance to the back, some windows with plants on the front. Inside I laid out where exactly I wanted everything to go, and we're going to be using a load of pieces from the Friends set to create an awesome coffee shop. Now knowing where everything was going to go, I tiled off the full floor with this dark tan pattern, adding in a coat rack by the entrance, this bright orange sofa, a couple more chairs, sofas and a table in this center section, some nice decorations, a piano and a few tables, followed by the bar section, which was a really nice feature that I saw in the set. Now turning my attention to the roof, I replicated the size of the floor below, creating this nice colourful base, and used a load of black slopes around the outside to create create what I think is a pretty decent looking roof. I then plated and tiled off the center, adding in an entrance hatch and a couple of air conditioning units. I turned my attention then back down to the road, where I finished off some tiling and added in a staircase up to the second floor. You'll notice these pre-molded Lego stair pieces don't quite reach the bottom, so I had to quickly extend them, adding a trash can out the back as well as a crate with some discarded Lego sets. Next I took a couple of bags of plant pieces and created this nice set of flowers running up the side of the building where it was a little bit plain. And now our Lego store is complete. We have this clone trooper statue at the front, of course the pick a brick wall and all the other details we saw before, and now we can add it back into the city and open it for business. Our first customer's leaving the store with a big smile on his face. One of our employees is behind the till, one is heading over to the back door, and one's over here in the corner talking to a customer. This is also me heading up to the till with my last couple of dollars to buy tons of bricks for this video. We've also got a Lego vlogger documenting her journey through the Lego store. Upstairs we added a couple of people coming into the coffee shop, a barista, a couple of customers chilling out drinking their coffee, and a waitress bringing them some soup. Now that we've fully built up the back section of the street, I think it's time to take the buildings to the next level. So I'm going to hand it over to my friend Geordie from Light My Bricks, and he's going to sort us out with some awesome light kits to upgrade the buildings.
Hey there SW, I heard you're going to be lighting up your Lego city, and that's definitely something that we can help out with. Let's head down to the warehouse and find exactly what you need. Okay SW, we've got a bunch of stuff here for you, so let's check it out. Firstly, we've got our assembly square light kit, as well as our police station light kit, two awesome modulars that look even better when they're lit up. Then we've got our new Nissan Skyline Speed Champions light kit, which is going to be great to light up those city streets. And last but not least, we've got a bunch of our DIY components so you can light up that Lego store mock of yours. We definitely can't wait to see your city all lit up, but for now, it's back to you, mate.
And they've arrived, so let's add them into the buildings and take the city to the next level. As you can see, we started with the police station. The lights are designed to be added to the set once they've been built, so whilst being a little bit fiddly, it was a very simple process. Beginning with the bottom floor, we added a street light and lots of lights across the front. We then used these wireless power connectors to ensure the buildings remain modular. For the middle and top floor, you add lights to the bottom to light up the floor below, and there's even a small blinking red light on the roof. And with that, the police station was fully lit up. I've got to say, it really takes it to the next level. Next up, assembly square, and we added lights to the fountain, and of course, all across the buildings. These did take a long time, but they were definitely worth it, and I think it looks awesome next to the police station. Taking a break from buildings, we did the small speed champion light kit, adding in headlights, rear lights, and an underglow. I also created a small road for that half base plate space that's left at the end of the city, which the Nissan GTR will sit on, and the wire will be connected over to the Lego store, which was up next on the lighting list. This was a bit harder as we ran out of wireless connectors, but I made it work having a cable running up the back drain pipe to cover up the wires. So I brought the Lego store back down to the city and got everything connected together, ready for... So the final two things to finish off are these two base plates here. Of course, I laid down one more base, adding in this square for the center of the park with a nice square walkway running around the outside, using this checkerboard pattern with the tiles. I added in some earth around the edges where I planted a load of stem pieces, topping them off with a variety of flowers. Over on the blue base plate, I wanted to build a beach, so I laid down these plates, starting with dark blue and working my way up to the light blue, covering these with transparent tiles and mixing in some slopes to add in some waves. Between the water and the park, I added in this small sea wall and then switched up the color to indicate a switch between dry and wet sand. Finally, I added in some finishing touches with a dolphin, a turtle, and some other small creatures. Now for the center of the park, I used this massive tree that I had from a previous project, adding back all the leaves and placing it in the center of the park. We just had a few more finishing touches to finish off, like the path, some sunbeds with the sunbather, a man in the sea, and a couple of people arriving on the beach. We have a trendy man in a suit heading to the Lego store, adding in some more minifigures to the street, including some waiting for an ice cream van. I filled up the park with some dog walkers, some kids playing on the grass, and a man playing the violin. And now the city was complete. Our week of work has definitely paid off. I've got to say I really enjoyed this. I'm so happy with the way it came out. It looks pretty good in the daylight, however, let's see what the city looks like in the dark. Lights really do add something special to Lego builds, so thanks again to Light My Bricks for sending over these, and thanks to Whatnot for sponsoring the video. Make sure to go check out that auction. If you watch this video after the auction, I'm sure I'll be doing more in the future. Of course, let me know what you thought in the comments. What's your favourite part of the city? What's your favourite building? If you enjoyed this one, I think you'd enjoy this other one that's popping up on your screen now, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're still going for 100,000 subscribers this year, and literally only 2% of you guys are actually subscribed. But with that being said, I'll see you over on one of these other videos. Goodbye.